This podcast is part of the Pull Up a Chair podcast network. Let's build community through connection, conversation, and collaboration.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
And I'm V.
And you're listening to Cringe With Me, the podcast where we dig up the cringiest articles, questions, and tidbits of human culture to review with you, our listeners, so you too can cringe with me.
I'm hypocritical, but at least I know we could be beautiful or maybe terrible.
All right, it is finally my turn again. And what do? I go to my girlfriend, Amy.
Oh, of course.
Oh my God, she's my queen. I love it. Just kidding, do it. So the title of this opinion advice column thingy is, "What I did has weighed on me for years. Should I finally tell?"
Oh, this is starting out dramatic. There's some suspense here. Okay.
Right.
I was like, are we about to find out about a dead body? Like, where's this going?
It's gonna go, it gets a little dirty. All right.
Oh.
Dear Amy, I've been with my partner Jay for 7 years now. We are both happy and healthy. One of our best qualities is that we are really honest with each other.
Mm-hmm.
This has helped us through good times and bad times. My problem is that early on in our exclusive relationship, I kissed an ex. Honestly, it meant nothing to me. Furthermore, I believe it actually helped me completely commit to Jay. This kiss provided me that moment of clarity. I am struggling with the impulse to tell my partner about this. I have felt guilty for it over the last few years, and I think I'd be better if I unburdened myself. Your advice?
Ooh.
From A.
Okay.
And when I saw A,
I
I
already
was
got some
like,
feels about this one. But,
okay, give me your feels before we get into
the response?
Before we get into Amy's opinion.
So, on the one hand, no, really, you know what it is? The thing they said is like, I think I should unburden myself with this. The problem with secrets, when you unburden yourself, you are unburdening someone else.
Yes.
Because this secret you are going to unburden yourself with is going to put a burden on your partner. Like, they're the ones who have to live with this now, right?
Yes.
Like, as much as I am for honesty, and I am, and I actually, when we talk about this, I think I'm going to weigh in on the side of tell them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't act like it's just relieving a burden. No. You're handing it to someone else. That's what you're doing. You're saying the secret that I've kept that is burdening me, now you're going to have to live with this idea in your head. This exists in your problem now.
You share it too. I see that. I feel that. All right. So Amy said, "Dear A, you need to ask yourself personally, what good would come of this? The way you describe it, confessing would unburden you. The way I see it is that you may..." Get your face. Don't look at me like that. The way I see it is that you would mainly like to be transferring this burden to your partner.
Oh, I feel so validated right now. I feel so validated. Yes.
What good would come of that? And that's all she wrote. That's all Amy wrote. Amy didn't even, she didn't even approach this woman's question. She's like, dude, what are you doing?
Okay.
Ask yourself that question.
And
she left it there. She dropped the mic. Please don't drop my mic. But she dropped the mic.
Oh my God, Amy.
Right. I love her.
I feel it.
I like Abby too. I like Miss Manners. But Amy.
Yeah, Amy summarized all of my feelings on this, more or less, which is, this is just, you're putting the burden on someone else.
Yeah.
That being said, though, there is an element here that I think could be discussed. One, I think there are ways that you could reveal this thing. You could come clean about the secret in a way that is maybe not so harmful to your partner. I think that this can be an honest and fruitful discussion.
Really?
I think it depends on some of the details, which we don't have. So
well, we have some details. She's been with her current partner for 7 years during the early portion of their relationship, but past the time where they decided to be exclusive, that she kissed somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, with the exception of this incident, presumably, that they are all about honesty.
Right.
But she has not been honest the entire relationship.
Right.
And they've been through at least a few bad things since then, and honesty is what saved them. If you ask me, I think some of the bad things are probably her cheating by the way her behavior is laid out now.
Really?
I don't usually jump on the, oh, they're probably cheating bandwagon. But the way she emphasized that honesty has gotten them through the good times and the really, really bad times is suspicious.
I don't find that suspicious. I think I think it's what you're jumping to is a very reasonable jump that people will make. I don't think it's accurate, though. I think it's like the default jump, right? It's like, oh, being honest about interactions with other people. But I actually think it's more likely that they're being honest about their feelings when things didn't feel good. In my experience, the thing that is hard to be honest with your partner about is when you're not feeling the relationship, right? If things have felt stale or things have felt unconnective, something is wrong, that's a very hard thing to be honest with your partner about. It's very hard to tell someone, I'm not feeling this, right?
I can't relate because I guess I'm a little cruel in that department.
Well, I think it's an important thing to be able to do.
Yeah, it is.
That's
Absolutely.
the kind of honesty that will save your relationship, because being able to let your partner know, like, hey, I'm not feeling this. Like, I've been feeling this recently. The last couple weeks have been kind of not good. Like, I haven't felt connected. I haven't felt positive about things. Because if you're really invested in this relationship, and they are as well, usually hearing that, as hard as it is to hear, you can turn around and be like, okay, you know what? Let's try to rekindle some connection. Let's try to put more effort into things to reestablish that, right? Which often is all it takes, right?
Yeah,
like, that's often all it takes.
Not too hard to be honest about something like that.
Yeah.
Especially since the outcome's so cut and dry.
You're taking away the other person's agency to address the issue if you don't tell them.
But it's been 7 years. I'm not
Sure.
saying that she shouldn't tell her partner. I'm assuming that A is a girl, mostly because Pretty Little Liars. I see A and I think Alison de Laurentiis. But anyways.
So I think the interesting aspect of this, right, is also how you think they'd respond. I think that's a factor, right? So to me, personally, if this kind of thing were revealed to me, I'd be like, okay, whatever, right? Because kissing someone just doesn't feel like as big a transgression, right? Like, oh, I kissed my ex one time at this thing, and then I realized very much clearly that I did not want that. I wanted to be with you, and this is the thing, and I've committed myself to this for the last 6+ years, right? To me, I hear that, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I understand. I wish you would have told me at the time. It would obviously be better if you had told me at the time. But I can accept that this was like a one-time thing and it was just a kiss. It's different, than, for example, sleeping with someone. Like, that hits a little different, right? If you had said, oh, I slept with my ex while we were dating and exclusive and didn't tell you, oh, I'd have some feels about that, right?
That's painful,
That's a knife to the chest. But a kiss is something that I could get over. And I think if you've been with someone 7 years, you probably know how hard that would hit. See,
I'm in a monogamous relationship for the last 7 years. We've been dating for almost 8 now. If I found out that he had been keeping a secret from me for 7 years, that would be the deal breaker. Not the fact that he kissed somebody, not even who he kissed. It's the fact for the last 6+ years, deep down in his heart, there's something that he should have been done told me a long time ago.
I see.
That for me, being in a relationship for this long, knowing that situation is like, okay, it's not the fact that it was a kiss. Because you're right, a kiss is, I guess, for some people it happens, especially if it's the heat of the moment, there's stuff going on. I could see that happening, absolutely. But ain't nothing in the world stopping them from telling you.
Sure. I agree with you. This shouldn't be a secret.
It shouldn't be.
We're in the position where it already is.
Yeah, it already is. And for me, that secret having existed for the last 6+ years is the problem.
So do you think this person should not?
Oh no, they
reveal the
definitely should, because
Okay.
honesty is the best policy. They just need to be aware that it could end or permanently alter the relationship, as it should. Just because something feels bad doesn't mean that it is bad.
So this brings up an interesting moral question here.
Yes.
Which
Okay.
is, yes, actions have consequences.
Action.
There is you should have consequences for this. However, the consequences don't just affect you.
Mhm.
Like, you are in currently a 7-year loving relationship. You guys have stuck it out through a lot of
Mhm.
things. You're happy. You're good.
Yeah.
Revealing the secret isn't just destroying the relationship for you.
Yeah.
It's destroying the relationship for the other person when the other person did nothing wrong.
No, they didn't do anything
And they
wrong.
don't necessarily deserve those consequences. And so let's say if you didn't tell them this, if the secret is kept, the relationship continues on happily ever after, right?
Mhm.
But bringing this up causes the end of the relationship, causes suffering and heartbreak for both parties, ultimately ends a relationship that would have been successful if the secret had just remained a secret. Is it ethically still the right thing to reveal that? All you're creating is harm. You're not creating anything good.
You're creating
You're
honesty. Because things
but-
haven't been truly honest.
Sure, but do they need to be for it to be ethical? That's
I
what I'm
believe
asking.
so.
Okay.
I believe. Okay, well, let's say it wasn't just kissing,
Mhm.
it was full on sex.
Mhm.
In that case, in going down the same path of logic, does
Mhm.
that change things?
I mean, I don't think it changes the nature of the question I'm posing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would change the how dramatic the response would be, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not, just to be clear, I am not saying you should keep these secrets. I'm not saying you should lie about these things. I'm saying
You're
it
playing
isn't
devil.
No, it's not even playing devil. I'm not advocating for the other side. I'm simply posing the question of who's suffering the consequences. Do they deserve it?
Well,
And does that
no.
change the equation?
I mean, life isn't always fair, and that sucks. But,
Sure.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be with somebody who lied to me for 7 years.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm not sure I would either, right? Like, I would have
Yeah.
a lot of problems with this. It's the kind of thing where I wish they would just come clean with it, and I think if they did, it'd probably be okay.
I feel better, like, I think I'd forgive it up to the first year and a half, roughly.
Okay, there's like a cutoff date. when
Yeah, it's like, I
really
don't know
acceptable.
exactly where it is, but if I found out like a year later, it's like, oh, we weren't super secure, and I wasn't super comfortable, and I'm sorry, and it hasn't happened, and it will never happen again. I could imagine a scenario where I could forgive that. I
Nice.
wouldn't necessarily do it, but I could see it. I feel like once you get to 2 to 3 years, it's like your skeleton should be out of the weeb's closet.
Nice callback.
Always gotta call back to that episode.
Yeah, okay, so there's a statute of limitation.
Yes.
You have a certain amount of time, and then otherwise it's no good
Yeah.
anymore. That's interesting.
I don't know
think
where that cutoff is, but it's somewhere.
I don't think I have a cutoff like that. I don't think that there's to me a amount of, because to me it doesn't matter how long, it just matters that it happened. And actually, I'm almost more forgiving of it being longer, because the problem with secrets like this is the longer you've kept it, the harder it is to reveal. It actually gets harder, to be honest, not easier, over time. And so I'm like, yeah, I wish you had told me right away, but if you couldn't tell me right away, the longer you waited, the more I understand why you couldn't tell me. Right? Like, I'm not saying
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not saying I agree with it. I don't think it's ethical. But I understand it. Because everyone has kept secrets. Everyone has lied, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I think we all know that the longer you've been holding that secret, the harder it is to reveal it, right? Because because the crime gets worse with each day that you wait.
I think that actually depends on the person.
Sure.
Because in the moment where I'm like, I did something wrong, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Eventually I'm like, I've grown so much since then. I'm a different person. Yesterday was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
For me, it's, I let things go the longer it is, which is why I usually forgive just about any transgression against me after a while.
Mm-hmm.
As long as there's that upfront honesty, and the sooner it is, the more willing I am to forgive.
Yeah, well, and that's
Yeah,
one
like,
way that this could be brought up, right? This could be brought up in that aspect of like, hey, I was a different person when we started dating 7 years ago. I did this thing. I couldn't talk about it then. I'm talking about it now. I'm really sorry. I think there's a lot of relationships where that goes over okay and everything's fine.
I can see certain people forgiving that, and I could also see where the person would come from waiting that long. they definitely should tell their partner, and they should definitely be willing to forgive and just deal with whatever consequences come of their actions. Because it was them. Nobody told them to keep it to themselves. Nobody told them that they were allowed to share their lips.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think I think you should tell them. I think you should accept the consequences. I think it's unfortunate that you will not be the only person suffering those consequences.
Oh yeah, I feel so bad for the partner here.
But our world is based on the innocent suffering the consequences of the malicious. So
yeah. Let's try a different dimension next time.
All right, well, I'm Ryan, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram under Build Right Roll, where I post about my professional Dungeon Master experiences. You can check out the links in the description if you're interested in hiring a professional DM or looking to level up your own DM skills.
And you can find me, V, at Cringe Queen at Instagram and Twitter, or check me out on YouTube as the Queen of Cringe, and be embarrassed with me.
All right, well, thanks for listening and cringing along with us.
And we'll catch you next time with more awesome cringe content.
I'm hypocritical, but at least I know we could be beautiful or maybe terrible. Only one way to know. Only one way to know.
Hello, I am Patrick.
And I'm Andrew. And I'm Christian.
And I'm Allie.
And we are Rad Theater, a podcast where a bunch of friends play role-playing games and share a single brain cell, and the GM doesn't always have it. Oh, and it's theater spelled the correct way, Theatre.